And resist. Your spirit sweetly does persist and draw me nearer. Draw me nearer. You look at me, and I am so undone inside. You never more alive than I believe. I'm feeling right now. I will run to you. Catch me and hold me in the center of your heart. I will run to you. Never ever let me go. Where would I go if not to you? Yeah, you're all I have and all I need. The life I live, the air I breathe. I once was lost, but now I'm found in you. I'm found in you. I will run to you. Catch me and hold me in the center of your heart. I will run to you. Never ever let me go. Where would I go? If not to you. Catch me and hold me in the center of your never ever let me go. Where would I go if not to you? But only to you, running to you, running, running to you. All right, welcome, guys, to another special, the Love Masterclass. Yes, it's all about love this beautiful Sunday evening for me. You're welcome wherever you're tuning in from. Please let us know in the chat where you're tuning in from. If you are already part of the MMA, our tradition by now, so let me know where you're tuning in from. Good evening from South Carolina. Yes, thank you. If you're on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, please do me a minute right now and share this broadcast on your page. And if you are in, go ahead, go on social media. It is Michelle McKinney Hammond on Facebook and YouTube. And yeah, Facebook and YouTube. Please go on there now and share this broadcast. Put some fire in emoji. Let's get this cracking. Beautiful evening for me and a wonderful some of you, even morning. Let me know where you're tuning in from. I will read. We have Maryland, Atlanta, we have Lagos. Everybody.
Lagos, Maryland, Atlanta, London, South Africa, Egypt. Welcome, Egypt.
Yes, come through.
South Africa, London.
We have people. I'm trying to go on Facebook to see. We have Nashville on Facebook. We have Asia. I'm guessing Arizona. We have Nigeria. We have UK. Yes. That's where you're tuning
Dallas, in. Florida, Alabama, California, Brooklyn. Hey.
Yes. Today, this is going to be a beautiful evening. Let's just take a minute to let more people join in. Broadcast. Are you sharing it? Share on your social media. Facebook, share it on YouTube. Tell your friends to join. It is going to be a really wonderful evening. Well, thank you so much for joining us today on this Love Masterclass. I think I have said thank you enough. One more thank you. I just one more thank you. I'm saying thank you because it's a privilege to be with you this evening.
Yes.
We don't always get that opportunity to commune and fellowship together. It is going to be wonderful. I've said that again. I'm saying that who is going to help us with this masterclass this evening. And for me, it is going to be an opportunity to hear her speak again because she preached at church this morning. And let me tell you something. This morning, I was like, yeah, she's preaching to me. She is definitely preaching to me. Okay. And I have the honor and the privilege to hear her again this evening. I have the honor and privilege to hear her every day. We are not sure to enjoy that, but we love it.
Mm.
So yes, welcome today. This is the Love Masterclass. What is the Love Masterclass? If you've never heard of it, the Love Masterclass is a relationship course created by the one and only Michelle McKinney-Habon, and the class is it is specifically made for you to excel in your relationship, okay? Not just your romantic relationship, but your relationship in general in life. It is meant for you to excel and progress. Like she would always say, we study for everything under the sun apart from relationship. And if you're African like me, you must go to school and attain the highest level of education, okay? So we all have the degrees and stuff in everything from relationship. We don't know what we're doing when it comes to relationship. And she saw the gap in the market and said, Lord, what can I do in this gap? And Jesus said, thank you. Now let's do this. And I'm telling you, the class is fire. If you've taken the class, you would know that it is transformative and it is life-changing. And we want to give the opportunity for people right now to just get a taste. Just a little some of what the class is about. Now, if you were with us last week, we all know that it was really good. It was, if you haven't seen that one, go on her social media. It is there. Just type in the Love Masterclass and you would find the previous session we did last week Sunday. So we are picking up from last week Sunday and we're doing today. And last week Sunday, we ended that dating is not for mating, it is for collecting data. I think that's how she sounds right about now, like in music. Dating is not for mating, it's for collecting data. But it is true though. So I'm gonna stop rambling and I'm gonna stop talking and I'm gonna hand it over to Dr. Michelle McKinney-Habon to take us away. Ma'am, over to you.
Thank you. I think we have a few people in the waiting room, so let's let them in. I hope that you're having a great Sunday, and I'm glad that you decided to join us. I did promise you that we would talk more about the interview. I believe that it is important to have the interview, to check all the boxes, to see if this person is qualified for consideration to be in your life and have access to your heart. It's interesting to me how many people I've spoken to who have started off great in a relationship, or it felt like it was great, and all of a sudden the other party ghosted and they didn't know why, didn't know what had happened, or they got into the relationship, got some way down the road and realized this is not what I really want. And when I ask those people, did you ask this? Did you ask that? They go, no, I didn't think about it. I was just having a good time and enjoying the company. I was just going with the flow. Well, unfortunately, we can't just go with the flow when it comes to our hearts. The Bible tells us to guard our hearts because out of it flow the issues of life and death, which is the premise of this relationship course, because I believe when we get love right, and that means loving yourself, loving God, and then loving others, that you have a healthy platform to build the rest of your life on. I like to call myself a lifestyle architect besides being a relationship expert, because I give you the tools you need to build the life and the relationships that you want. That is why I'm here. And so I just want you to put in the chat for me this evening, what types of things do you consider when you first meet someone? Can you write in the chat for me what you think about, what you want to know about that person? Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. Want to know what kinds of questions do you ask? Because it's amazing how many questions we don't ask. Now, as you two-part procedure, part of it is conversation, the other part is observation. Okay. if they're a believer in Jesus, their spirituality, his plan for future, career, interest, what they're looking for in a relationship. Nowadays, I try to be quiet and let them speak. Okay, so I said conversation and observation. But what are we observing? What are we observing about them? What are you listening for? Do they have a prayer life? Is there dad in their life? Which place, part God takes in their life? Does he have a vision and plan for the future? What are you looking for? What are they looking for in a relationship? Career, interest, are they saved? Their spirituality, if they're a believer in Jesus, their background, what do they believe? Okay, so a lot of what do you believe? But I'm going to urge you today to not just settle on if they know God or have a relationship with God, because Christians can be unequally yoked. So we have to get more information than that, okay? Everybody loves Jesus, but the rest of life and what's important to them, their value system, may be completely different than yours. And that's not a bad thing. It just means they're not the right fit for your life or you for theirs, because it's a two-part thing. So we don't want to torture them with them ending up with the wrong person. Neither do we want to torture ourselves by being with the wrong person, correct? I think last time we talked a little bit about standards versus expectations, and knowing the difference that standards are internal qualities and expectations are external qualities. But when we talk about the interview, when we talk about dating is not for mating, it's for collecting data. What type of data are we collecting? Let's talk about the type of data that we need to be observing besides, are they saved and love Jesus? Okay. I kind of like to compare dating to shopping. Now, when you go shopping, I'm actually releasing a fashion line this week. And let me tell you that I handpicked every piece of fabric myself. And the fabric that I'm using are different batiks and African prints and a little bit of silk. But I had to really be careful in selecting which pieces went together, because I wanted to blend prints together and colors together in an unusual way that made them both pop but complement one another. Can you hear where I'm going with this? You've got to check out the fabric. And we know from scripture that it tells us not to mix certain types of fabric together. Why? Because it has a certain quality that can pull it apart at the seam and destroy it. Both pieces may be beautiful, but they may not be complementary to the way the fabric is constructed. Therefore, it doesn't have the strength to hold to it. And I had that happen actually with one of my designs. They didn't use the right needle when they were sewing, and it pulled the silk in the garment, and you could see the imperfections. But if the right approach had been used, it would have been a beautiful garment. So I had to fix it, right? So that it would have the right quality to present to the world. What fabric is that person made of? Are you complementary to their fabric, and are they complementary to yours? So what are you going to look at? You're going to look at family. Family is huge. We have a tendency to say we don't marry family, but in a way we do. And so we've got to know that their family dynamics have modeled the right values for your life, because that's their norm. That's their normal. So if they live in a household that's loud and passionate, I have a friend who is married to an Italian, and he's very passionate, and they're used to yelling. And she came from a much more quiet household. So every time he's talking and he's passionate, she feels like he's angry. Well, he's not angry. He's just used to being passionate. And it's little things like that that we have to be able to look at and know. Eunice, I'm going to get to some Q&A in a little while, but I see your hand up. Don't think I'm ignoring you. We will break for Q&A in a few minutes. So when we're talking about this fabric, we're talking about value systems. We're talking about normal modes of behavior. We're talking about what that household looks like, how they communicate, how they don't communicate, how you feel about your parents, because we tend to superimpose our relationship with our daddies over the relationship that we have with men. Men tend to superimpose the relationship they have with their mothers over their relationship with you. So you've got to be able to check out the dynamics of the family life. And then the next thing you've got to check out is their friends. Some people say, well, I don't like their friends. Well, you need to know that that person is like their friends when they're not with you. Birds of a feather tend to flock together. So checking out friends, what their value systems are, what they talk about, the mode of behavior they have when they get together, to see what's going on in that person's life. And that's both ways. That's men need to check out women, and women need to check out the men friends. So that is very important. What cloth are they cut from? Are they marriage material? How are you going to figure that out? I see some of the good questions here are background, spirituality, career goals. Who is a wife to them? Great question. What's the job description for this love life? You know, love has work involved. And so it is a job. You've got to do the work in order for love to work. I wrote a book called How to Make Love Work. And I'm going to tell you, it is work. It is something that you have to apply yourself to, but you also have to be qualified for the job. And that is what you're checking out. Does this person qualify for consideration to move to the mode of courtship? We don't take a lot of time to really coast and find out everything we need to know before we give people access to our hearts, because we're going on chemistry, we're going on vulnerabilities, we're going on voids. Oh, this person makes me feel good. I just got out of a bad situation. This person is fluffing me up and making me feel good. But have you done the examination to know after they make you feel good, can they sustain those feelings in your life? Is this relationship something that can be maintained long-term, or is it a temporary filler? There's this thing called empty calories. Those are the things that you can eat that will fill you up, but they don't last forever, and they add fat to your system that you don't need to have. Whereas when we have a balanced meal, where there's meat, where there's greens, where there's the right combination, it not only fills us, but nourishes us. Your relationship should be nourishing you. It should be giving you life. Everything that God created, He created to give life. That's why everything bears a seed, so that it creates more of itself. So what seeds are you planting, and what seeds are they planting in your life? Are they moving you towards life or someplace else? Are they draining you? Think about it. The next thing is the fit. That's when we get into value systems. You know, when we do an interview for a job, they ask you your background. They ask you your experiences. They want to know your skill set. Skill set. This is huge. Okay. Are they really qualified to be a mate in your life? What are the qualifications that you have? Do you understand the role? You know, we live in a society now that does not like it when we mention roles. And yet God created in our DNA very specific things that are inherent to our nature. I'm not talking about men should take out the garbage and women should always cook. I'm talking about the other qualifications. Women are influencers. Is this woman wise? Are you wise? Can you give great counsel? Because one of the roles in your relationship is you're going to be an influencer. That man is supposed to be the head or the authority. Does he have the wisdom? Can you listen to him? You know, I've had people, you know, get married and then say, I can't submit to this man. Why? Because he's a fool. Didn't you know he was a fool before you married him? These are things that you have to check out when you're in the dating process. And when I'm saying dating, I'm thinking you should be going out with a couple of people with no touching. Dating is the interview. It is the time where you're checking him out. When you move to courtship, that's another picture. But right now, we're just looking at all our options. And here's the thing. It behooves you in the initial dating stage, to be dating several people. In the sense of you're going out for coffee, you're doing social things, you're observing, you're listening, you're having conversations. And what it does is it kills your desperation. I always talk about the fact that desperation diminishes discernment. But when you know you have options, you can take your time to decide who is really right for you. This should not be a confusing thing, okay? We're not talking about The Bachelor here. That's just nasty with them kissing 20 people. That's just nasty. I'm not talking about that, okay? them spending the night with everybody and trying to figure it out. That's confusion and tragedy waiting to happen, okay? I am talking about talking. I'm talking about observing until that one person stands out in the mix, okay? You understand you've got options, so you're not desperate. You can take your time. You can pace those interactions. You're not letting them call you 3 and 4 times a day because that's not sustainable. And those are the relationships where someone goes quickly, because somewhere along the way, true life takes over, things that they've got to pay attention to. And so their pattern shifts, which kind of throws you off and makes you feel insecure because they're not calling you 2 and 3 times a day. So your chemistry changes towards them. They feel the tension and the pressure, and they just abandon mission because men don't like to be overwhelmed, okay? And women don't like to feel insecure. So there's a balance of pacing yourself so that it's an interaction that can be maintained and sustained until you figure out which file the relationship belongs in. Is everybody following me? Is everybody following me? Am I answering some questions? Are you getting something out of this? Put yes, yes, yes in the chat if you are. Put yes, yes, yes if the light is going on. If there's something that I've said that you haven't thought about before, because here it is. I am here to push all your buttons and turn on all the lights so that you walk with an illuminated sense of understanding when you're dealing with relationships. Love is not a game, but you need to be smart. You need to have wisdom to navigate through it. And that's what this course is all about. I am here to shatter negative cycles that you've been experiencing. I'm here to help you understand the opposite sex. I'm here for you to understand what love really looks like so that you're very discerning about, yes, this person is dealing with me in a loving way. I'm here to show you what those roles and expectations should look like so that you're not operating in magical thinking or fantasy, but you actually have realistic expectations and standards so that when you make your judgment call, it's from a place of knowledge and wisdom and not just chemistry, okay? So I am passionate about this because trust me, I've done things wrong for so long in my life before I got wise. And I was blessed to have mentors in my life that had amazing relationships. And I began studying those relationships and pulling principles from the things that I saw all those relationships had in common. And there was a lot of wisdom there. And then, of course, I did a lot of research into the Word of God. And 42 books later on the topic, I think I have a few things to share with you. Okay. I don't know if you've read any of my books. What to Do Until Love Finds You was my first one when I was struggling with my own single walk. Then I went on to Secrets of an Irresistible Woman. If men are like buses, then how do I catch one? Proverbs 31 Man. What is it? What's the one, Taker? I always get the title crazy, but it's about learning about life, love, and men. Okay. So there is so much material that you can get. It's all on Amazon, but I'm going to be giving you a few books when you sign up for the class: How to Make Love Work, How to Make Life Work, The Power of Being a Woman, Proverbs 31 Man. I even have a book for the men on how to find the right woman for you. This morning I preached on Ruth, the book of Ruth, and it was just chapter 1, but it was loaded because this is where everything fell apart in Naomi's life. She didn't wait. And how many of you have problems with the wait? Put in the chat if you go, yes, I've been struggling in the waiting. See, when we're waiting, but we've got no vantage point of who we are, where we are, what the promise is for our lives, we have a tendency to chafe in waiting. We're not able to trust God and just relax until he brings what we want into our lives. You know, I'm going to tell you this story. Tega's going to say, oh my, why are you telling that story? But I decided, I have 3 Shih Tzu puppies, and I decided that I wanted a black Shih Tzu because they're very rare. And the breeder in Ghana does these beautiful black Shih Tzus. So I called her and I said, I want a black Shih Tzu. Can you make sure that when you have some, you tell me so that I can get one from you. So she called me and she said, I've got some black Shih Tzus. She sent me photographs. I selected the one that I wanted, and I had to wait several weeks until she was old enough to come to me. Well, when she came, she put her in my lap and she curled up and went to sleep right away and acted like she had known me for 1,000 years. And I fell in love with her immediately. At that point, the breeder says to me, but I'm a little nervous because I think she's going to change color and she may not stay black. And you said you wanted a black dog. So I don't know what to do. By now, I'm in love with the dog. Tega says, send the dog back. The only reason you were getting another Shih Tzu was because you wanted a black one. So you should wait until you're really getting a black one. And I was like, but is that being a little shallow? Because she's so sweet and her chemistry seems to be right with the other ones. They were all just looking at her in hushed adoration. And that had never happened when another dog had come to the house. And so now I'm torn. She says, you need to send her back because the breeder had told us she had another litter and she indeed had some other black dogs. Well, so against my own instinct and my gut, I sent her back to wait to see the other black dog. And my sister dogged me out and said, oh, how superficial. That's terrible. I do rescue dogs. I can't believe you sent that dog back when she was so sweet, blah, blah, blah. And so I'm feeling bad, right? So several weeks go by and I call the breeder and go, well, how's the other dog doing? She says, oh, she's sick. I said, what? Oh, that's not good. We're starting off and she's sick already. I don't know if that, and I'm like, maybe you need to bring the other one back because I really liked her and she had stayed on my mind. Okay. So finally, the next day she calls and says, oh, the black puppy died. I said, what? And I felt that was a sign from God. So I got Sasha fearless. And I said, I don't care if her color changes because I'm already in love. Now, why did I tell you that story? That black coat was my expectations, but her sweetness and her temperament were my standard. And I have not regretted it. And she is, her colors lifting a little, and I don't care because I loved her. I love the character of who she is. Now you might say, oh, but Michelle, I really do have to have a man that's fine. I get that. I've always had beautiful men in my life. But guess what? They were beautiful, but their insides weren't so beautiful. And so I've learned to appreciate character and integrity and other things that have now become my inward standards. But you'll say, but what does that mean? Shouldn't I be attracted to the person? Yes. And guess what? When you get to a certain place where you're able to appreciate great traits, love covers a multitude of sins, including them not looking the way you thought they had to look when you first met. So it behooves you to take the time to be friends, to walk with the person, to do the shopping, list. Fabric, are they marriage material? What cloth are they cut from? Does their constitution match with your fabric, the fabric of your life? Fit, what is their vision for life? Are you all going to be complementary? You don't have to be alike, but you have to complement one another. You've got to be able to appreciate what one another are doing. Okay, so we can get more into that in the main class. And then last of all, finance. What is this relationship costing you? Is it adding to you or is it subtracting away from who you are? Is it causing you to compromise who you are? Is it causing you to feel bad about yourself? Is it causing you to question your value? Is there any abuse in the relationship? All of these are things that you need to look at and make quality decisions because of what you've not only heard, but what you have observed. Sometimes you might go someplace and someone's being very nice, but you go to a restaurant and they're really rude to the waiter. That's something that's in them. And these are things that we don't usually take seriously. We see little red flags, but we dismiss them because we're focused on, oh, the person didn't do that to me. But if that's in them, they will eventually get to do it to you. Okay. I'm seeing, oh yeah, there's 4 of them running around back there. So I don't know which one you saw. She still looks black right now. She's still very dark, but she's getting little auburn and gray undertones and she's just adorable. Someone was asking about her. So what do I want to accomplish in this class? I want to equip you to solve your relationship issues. I want to break unsuccessful cycles. I want to give you the knowledge you need to not just be able to be discerning when you meet someone, but to be joyful during the, hey guys, you heard me talking about you, huh? Stop. Okay, calm down. So anyway, as I was saying, I want you to be able to make choices that are in alignment with what you truly want. I want you to get your heart's desire, and that's not a bad thing. God says that he will give us our heart's desire, but what does that mean? Not necessarily that any wonderful thing that we think about is the right thing to ask for or the right thing to hope for, but as we wipe the slate clean in our lives and understand God's concept of love and what he wants to bless you with, we then ask him to write the right vision on our hearts so that we make the right decisions and choices. Does that make sense? Okay. So that leads us to sharing about the class. This is just an appetizer to that class, but we will be beginning a new semester of the Love Masterclass March 28th. And we have an early bird special going on right now that we want you to take advantage of at almost 50%. And listen, people, I have made this so possible for you. There is no excuse. There's a payment plan any way you want to do it. You can do the course on your own. You can sign up for the main course where it includes master classes with me. There are 6 modules with 10 lessons, and I come on every 2 weeks after you've completed your module, and we have a live Q&A and masterclass on Zoom. Now, the classes are 10 to 12 minutes. You do them every day as part of your devotion, and you do the heart work in your workbook so that by the time we have our masterclass, you're equipped to ask the questions you want to ask or share what you've gotten out of the experience of what you've studied for the week. If you don't have the time for that class, you can do love capsules. Love capsules are the cliff notes that will be delivered to your email box 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. It's a subscription program so that you can just get bite-sized nuggets of things that you need to know to solidify your understanding of what your love life really should look like according to God. You see, when we're in right alignment with God's vision for love, then we have peace, and peace gives us joy. That's when we have the full love experience the way he wants us to have it. So now I'm going to turn this over to Tega so she can show you what the class looks like. And I think there are a couple people on here who have taken the class, and I want you to hear from one of them. Also, I can't forget to tell you that it's not about just doing the work, but it's the community that is formed. We have a page, like a Facebook page that everyone clocks into and shares ideas. And usually after a while, they love each other so much, they form their own WhatsApp conversational page. But I have seen that community grow and actually be maintained and sustained even when class is over. They're still talking to one another because they formed a new and safe community, a place where they support one another to walk through this thing. You know, waiting can be a good thing. Waiting assists you in lifting and separating what really matters. I'm going to let Tega share and show you the format of the class, and then I want to come back and share something with you while I look it up. Tega?
All right. Thank you so much. That was so powerful. Can you all hear me? Just put a thumbs up if you can hear me in the chat. My internet is a bit wonky. Thank you so much. Before we continue, if you have questions, just keep putting them in the chat. We will get to them really soon. Before I share the class, please, she told this dog story, and I know her internet people, they will come for my neck. They already do on a regular basis. I was just being practical, okay? I was just being practical. I was like, we don't need another dog. The only reason why we want another dog is because we wanted the black. I was just coming from a practical place. Right now, Sasha is my baby and I love her. Before you come for me, let me put that disclaimer out there. Thank you very much. Now let's move on to the class. If you can see my screen, just give me a thumbs up. If you can see my screen, let me know real quick if you can see my screen. Okay, so this is the Love Masterclass site. We have made it so simple for you that it is not technical at all. You know, we tried to take a course one time on one site. Oh my God, even me that I am very techie savvy, that site was the what I was like, I just got turned off by how complete. You know how when people are trying to make something out extraordinary, then they end up making rubbish, and it's just so complicated. That's not what we've done with the Love Masterclass. This is simple and basic and straightforward. Once you sign up for the class, you will get an email that congratulates you for joining the class, and we give you a few information that you need. But the day before the class starts, I send out an email with how to sign up for the class, how to create your account. I send you an how to everything, and I am on standby to help people with the class. I get on Zoom call with people who they're having a little challenge, whatever it is. I'm always on standby to help with that. Now, but it's very simple. Once you sign up for the Love Masterclass, this is what it looks like. You get a congratulatory message. It says welcome. If you play the video, it's just a short video of Dr. Michelle welcoming you.
You're ready to do the work. I'm ready to get started. Let's do this. Hello, I'm Michelle McKinney Hammond, best-selling author, international speaker, and relationship expert. If you're watching me right now, we are going to have an amazing time together, and hopefully your life is going to be changed after taking this course designed with you in mind to renew your mind and change your life and your perspective towards life, love, and relationships. And hopefully we'll be able to do that as we take our journey together. I believe that many singles get stuck on one area when it comes to relationships and disregard the entire big picture of life. So we're going to cover everything concerning life, love, and your joy level. What do you get with this class? Well, you get modules of 10 lessons each. You will have a workbook for each of those modules, as well as access to the community where you get to meet others, interact, and dialogue on what you're learning, as well as master classes with me, which will be mostly Q&A, because by then I know you'll have a lot of questions and I will be ready to answer them. Those will take place on Zoom, and we're going to have an amazing time together. Now, how do you do this class? Well, first you watch the lesson. I want you to meditate and glean on what you're learning. Turn it over in your spirit. Lift and separate what applies to you, and then join in the community and discuss. The interaction is going to stir up even more things, and you're going to make new friends.
All right, you have to sign up for the class to hear the rest of that message. When you come down here, you would see it says watch the lesson, do the homework, and join the community. Now, there's a Facebook community and there's also a WhatsApp community. If you don't know what WhatsApp is, I'm telling you, I'm putting you on right now. It is the best thing that has happened to technology. It is FaceTime for the rest of the world that don't have an iPhone. Well, I do have one, but yeah. So that's WhatsApp. You video and call for free, and you can chat back and forth. So when you come here and you click watch the lesson, keep my internet in minutes. All you have to do is click the box. You see right here, it has a module one, which is called the big picture. Module two, that is the heart work. Module three is called real deal on love. And module four, dating, mating, and relating. So it's a build up. She doesn't just, once the start class, she doesn't just jump into, so let me tell you about relationship. No, it's a nice build up on so by the time you're done with the class, you're well rounded in not just, like I said in the beginning, not just talking about romantic relationship, but relationship in general in your life. Now, like I said, the class comes with a workbook. Hold on, I'm stop sharing the screen for a minute so that I can go back into the class. We have the workbook here. Once you go to the part that says do the homework, each module comes with its own workbook. Now, if you're old school like me that like to flip through books and read them, the hard copy, you can download this and just make them into like a folder, or you can just type in into the modules. They are all writable files where you can type into the class and answer all the questions. And I will let Daya speak about the workbook and the class in a later time, because I'm telling you, these questions are not easy to answer. You have to come back, think about it, think and keep thinking about it. I'm like, no, I can't. No, I'm not answering those questions right now, because no, we're not doing that today. Anyway, so that's what the Love Masterclass looks like. And like she said, we've made it easy and accessible for you where you can take different courses. We've also made it in a way where if you look at each module, you can decide which one you want to take. There's an early bird special that is going on right now. So I encourage you to grab that one. You can also do a 1 year plan where you pay every month to get into the class. We've made it in a way where, listen, you can take any type. You can take the love capsules, which are like summary of what the class is, and you get it 3 times a week. You can just buy just module one. If you're just concerned with the big picture of your life and you don't care about the rest, you can go ahead and just purchase just module one. You can read through them, think about it, pray about it. You can also just buy module two if you feel like your heart needs a bit of mending and reshaping and all that. You can just take that. So we've done this. See, there's no excuse at this point. There is no excuse to improve your life, to better your life. You can budget, cut out some things and take the class. I will turn it over now. We have some alumni here from the class, and I would like them to speak about it. Are you guys writing in your questions? Please send in your questions. We still have a few more time to go on Facebook and YouTube. You can also send in your questions. I will be reading it from here. Day, are you here? Day, if you're here, can you kindly come on and speak about the Love Masterclass?
Yes, I'm here.
I'd like to introduce Dea, because Dea is actually the moderator of the Love Community page. And so she is an elder in MMH Ministries, and she does such an amazing job of posting daily inspirations and getting everyone to stay in the flow and stay on top of the issues and answer questions. So you also have her moral support. And so now, Dea, I'm going to turn it over to you, since you were one of the first ones to take the class.
Thank you for the intro.
Before you come on and speak, I just wanted to speak about this. I wrote it down. I wanted to talk about the community that the Love Masterclass gives you. I really want to stress on that, because I personally, I am part of the ministry, but I personally have benefited from the community that the Love Masterclass gives you. I have gotten great friends from, they saw me through the pandemic. Mom was stuck in London for 7 months, and I was by myself with the dogs, and these girls saw me through the pandemic. They would call me every day and be on the phone with me for hours and hours. I have prayer partners from that. It is a beautiful thing to have great community from the Love Masterclass, and it is, I personally have benefited greatly from that. There, you can go ahead now.
Yes, thank you for the intro. Yes, everything that was said is that and more. I myself had COVID during the class and had the entire team of women praying for me daily, hourly. Anytime I posted on the chat when I was well enough to speak, they were praying. They sustained me. As far as the class itself, it wasn't hard in a sense that if you create a little system for yourself, it's the commitment is not that much of like a window of time. In 20 minutes, you could be done. The videos are no longer than 15 minutes. They're anywhere from 12 minutes to 15 minutes. You listen to the video, you walk through it with the book. There are places for you to take notes. If you want to do it on your computer, you can also print it, or you could just read the lessons and write down on a separate piece of paper. The questions at times are very difficult to answer, but the advantage of that is you're going to take this course and you're going to discover something else about you. You're going to look into, so Michelle literally makes you reflect in who you are when you start the class, and the class itself will propel you into who you're going to become. And the reason why I'm saying that is because it wasn't uncommon to do a module and then 2 weeks later experience some kind of life event and then reflect back, wait, I just learned that. She just talked about that. She said we could do this, or what were the questions that were asked that made me think about who I was becoming in during the process of the Love Masterclass. So I think it is something that it will keep on giving, meaning you will finish the modules, and after the semester is over, you're going to find yourself thinking about some of the questions, some of the things that were discussed. And it's possible that, like myself, when I took the course a second time, there were questions that I couldn't answer the first time, but because I had done the work, I was now able to answer the questions. So it's almost like you're not going to get all the answers right away. But if you go back and read the questions, look at the workbook again, down the road, you may be able to answer those questions, because the course is designed to make you shift. It is designed to make you transition from where we are today to the next season. It's going to shift you into a different phase of your life. You're going to look at life with a different set of eyes, with a new perspective. And I think that is the most beautiful part of the course, because, you know, it's normal for you to take a class anywhere that you've gone. Like Michelle says, there's a class for everything, but there isn't a class to teach us about relationships. And as I mentioned in the class before, whether you're married or in a relationship, or whether you're single and you need to learn how to be in a relationship with your coworkers or your family members, this will cover all of it. Okay. It's not just for someone, oh, I'm single, I don't have a man. It's for everybody. It is for everybody. When you walk out of understanding the structure of the relationship with yourself and your relationship with God, you're going to look at people in a different way. And that is going to impact every area of any kind of relationship you have. Even impacted me with my children. So it is absolutely, it'll cover all. But again, you're going to walk out with something and it'll keep on. Have you ever heard when people take antibiotics? They'll take it for 7 days, but the antibiotics will keep working for 2 weeks. In your system, that medication will keep on working and working and working. Even though you start taking the pills last week, next week, those antibiotics are still working. That's the Love Masterclass. It'll keep on working.
Thank you, Dea. And I want to add that once you join the class, you have a lifetime membership. So if you want to repeat the semester when the semester starts again, you can do that. We're only offering this class once this year because we actually have a part 2 scheduled for the fall. It's the collegiate course in love after you've gotten your foundational stuff here. Someone asked about login information. When the semester starts, you will receive login information. Each module has 10 lessons. And after you've done those 10 lessons, you then have time with me. So what do you get out of this class? You get a lot of information, and you get me spending time with you and mentoring you and walking with you, and a group supporting you as you begin to shift in your mindset, in your habits, and how you approach all the relationships in your life. You see, love begins with you. And love is not just about the romance. It's about maintaining consistent other healthy relationships that help you not be desperate by the time a potential mate presents themselves to you. I want to take Narmin because she's had her hand up for quite some time. If you have a question, I'd like to round up the last few minutes with taking those questions and letting you know that the early bird special will be over on the 18th. So I encourage you to get signed up, get your friends to sign up. It's going to be, this semester is going to be fire. I just feel like it's going to be really, really special. And while Narmin is asking her question, I'd like for you to put in the chat box for me, on a scale of 1 to 10, what is your joy level? On a scale from 1 to 10, what is your joy level? Narmin, can we unmute you and ask you?
I think it's 9.
Pardon me? It's 9. Good. That's good. You had a question?
I just have something to say. I'm from Egypt. I'm a Muslim, but I respect all religion. I love all people. I respect every people from every country. And I'm sure a little something. Yesterday I buy a book. It's a little book, and when I read the name of this book, it's be with the person who make you happy, but they make a cross on with, so it means be the person who make you happy. This, so I like this name.
Yes, yes. Love and joy does begin with us. We cannot be dependent on someone else to make us happy. They're going to fail you. They're going to disappoint you. And so we already have to be in a healthy place so that anyone who comes into our life is a welcome and happy addition, or we'll be able to recognize that this person is going to take things from me that are precious. So I'm glad that you're on. Actually, the ambassador of Egypt is my tenant, and we get together and have great times very often. He's a wonderful man. So I'm welcoming you because I have a special attachment to Egypt. So
we have one question here. We can do that one before we
pardon me?
We have one question here.
Okay.
Says, even though we dare to collect data and let us say they do qualify for the love job, isn't it still up to God? And doesn't God choose your mate for you because God knows what is best? That is that's a thing in you have to
It's a good
decide that.
question. Well, let me answer that. God does not pick your mate. He allows you to pick your mate because he's given everyone free will. Now, what happens is that we can ask God, what do you think about this person? Reveal this person to me. What do you think, God? And God can share his opinion with you if you're open to that. See, when you get to that place of being submitted to God, you want God's best for you. God knows who's best for you, but he will allow you to choose. You know, in the Old Testament, he had Adam name the animals, and he didn't change the names of any of them. And there's this very quirky little scripture that's written in there that says, but there was no suitable mate found for Adam. Does that mean that Adam was looking for a match among the animals? Some of us fight like cats and dogs in our relationships because we settle for animalistic relationships rather than allowing God to present someone to us that is a help meet. And that's on the male side as well as the women's side, because he's creating power couples, okay? He wants you to be your best for the kingdom of God. He wants you to make God and the kingdom look good, and that is reflected through the family unit. In a way, we see a kind of a parallel spiritually of God, okay, creation, and the children being the fruit of the Spirit. So the entire Trinity of God is represented in our marriage relationships. So when we see it in that light, it gives us a different approach, a more profound approach to how we view relationships and who we align ourselves with. I see that. Is it Paul? Is it P. Youngblood? What is your first name, sir? Let's unmute you so you can ask your question.
It's Pierre.
Pierre. Welcome, Pierre.
Hey, my question is, how do women or maybe you feel about men approaching them at church? Because I don't too much like to go to the like hangout spots or whatever and approach a woman. I'm more attracted to like a woman that's godly, and I think that the better chances are at church. But I'm not sure how women will how they'll feel if I approach them at church.
Well, I think it depends on the approach. If you meet someone and you say, well, you look really nice today, and I wanted to introduce myself to you. How are you? Wanted to know if you're available for coffee. You know, no pressure. You see, I think that actually, I think men are more afraid of women at church than women are afraid of men at church. I think that most women would love to meet a man at church in a safe environment. Most men don't like to meet women at church because they're already thinking ahead to, if it doesn't work, then I'm coming to church and I'm seeing this person still here. Yeah. So that's why I want to free you from the concept of dating being a commitment. It is not a commitment. It is where you're gathering the data to decide what the next step is. And that's something that you decide together as you're spending time together and realize, wow, I feel my heart being a little more invested than just friends. What do you think? That's when you have that discussion and you make a mutual decision to take it to the next level of courtship, where it's still, the verdict is still out, because now you're seeing if your lives mesh together. You're a little more committed. You are now making that person a priority. You're adjusting and shifting things in your life to accommodate them. And when you see how that works, then you move to covenant. So there's a 3-step process here. And when our hearts are desperate, what happens is we skip the processes and just, yes, this is the one. And then something happens because enough information wasn't gathered, and we walk away bitter or asking God, what happened and why did you allow that to happen? Well, God allowed it to happen because you get to make those choices. But when we're surrendered to him and we're in contact with the Holy Spirit, I mean, the minute someone approaches me, I ask, Holy Spirit, reveal everything about this person to me. Let me make an educated decision on where they fit in my life. I don't care how much chemistry is flying or what I think I'm feeling, because feelings are based on thoughts, and those thoughts might not be accurate in the beginning, because the heart is deceitfully wicked above all things. Who can know it? And what looks like a good thing might not be a good thing for you. Could be good for someone else, but not for you. Does that make sense, Pierre?
Yes, ma'am, it does.
Thank you.
So my next question is, how many, okay, once that one doesn't work, should I keep going in the same church or go to a different?
See, that's where the problem is. And that's why we have to be very careful. Because when you're in church and people see you together, they make assumptions. Mm-hmm. You see? So it might be nice to invite a group of people out. That way you're in a pressure-free environment where there's no commitment or pressure to be anything other than a group of friends going out, so that you can make those decisions before the assumption is there that this is leading to something else. You'll be able to observe and judge by what you've heard, okay? If you're ready to press in and say, I'd like to get to know you more. And these are conversations, and we do cover communication and how to have these conversations in the class as well. So all of that is there. We can't cover it all tonight, because that's why it is a 6-module, 10-lesson class, because there's a lot to know, a lot to understand. And you'll be surprised at all the things you've never thought about before when you dealt with relationships. You want me to repeat the 3-stage process? There's dating, there's courtship, and then there's commitment. And we cover all the steps for those in the class. Let me see, what is your view on who should pay on a date? Finances seem to be an issue. Well, if the man invites you out, he should pay for the date. And if he can't pay for the date, that's giving you a hint of things to come. You know, if you're friends and you've made an agreement that you're going to go somewhere, you're going to split it, that's on you. But there are certain things built into our DNA that a woman needs to know about a man. And one of those things is, can he take care of me? Now, that doesn't mean that you blow his budget and, make unrealistic and inconsiderate demands on where you go and what you do, because you want him to select, because that's going to give you a hint about what he values, his taste level, his ability to make plans, all of those things. So there's a lot to accurately and sensitively, what one would use with sensitivity, approaching dating, okay? It's not the time to draw judgments. He might be, you've got some guys that will blow their whole wad on you and use a credit card and make you think they have a lot of money, and then later you find out they're knee deep in debt. Or there might be those that are very honest and very careful financially, and you want someone that's stable financially and responsible with their finances. So it's not about saying that person is being stingy, but then you've got to watch to see if that's really true. Does that make sense? Okay, well.
Yes, ma'am.
Tega, back to you.
It is 9 p.m. my time in Ghana, and it has been a great honor and a privilege to spend this beautiful 1 hour with you. I hope Dr. Michelle has been able to push some of your buttons and get you thinking. And if this class is calling you, please answer the call. Sign up for the class. Let us get this ball rolling. The early bird special is still up. There are different ways you can take the class. Go ahead and take the class. Save the money for that hair, that shoe, that coffee, that phone, that different. Save those money and invest in yourself by taking the Love Masterclass. I'm telling you, it is going to make your life great. I'm going to give you a personal testimony. In the first module, she talks about your will. Take the class and you understand what the will is. And I'm editing this course. I'm cutting the video. I'm writing the notes. I'm filming. I'm like, what does my will look like, though? My will is just work and her. I need more wills in this will thing. And then I started taking dance lessons, and give me 2 more months today. I'm coming for you. There's a dance a day. I am coming for you. By the time I'm done with my dance lessons, you'll not be able to stand me, ma'am. So take the class. Take the class. There are so many great testimonies from the class. Come join the family. Come, let's hang out and be friends. Come and be our friend. Let me hug you virtually every 2 weeks.
And I just want to interject here that my ultimate goal for you is that no matter what your relationship status, you are whole, you are healthy, you have joy, you have peace, and a great sense of fulfillment. This class might actually birth a new business before it births a relationship. It might birth you losing 20 pounds before you get the relationship. The class is about the totality of you, making you better for the relationship that you're ultimately going to have. And beyond that, being able to recognize and make the right decisions concerning who you allow into your life and who you allow to have access of your heart. Okay. So this is about your joy level, your fulfillment level, but ultimately it's about making you a complete person, because only as two whole people come together do you experience a whole and healthy relationship. Olivia, you have your hand raised. That will be our last question for today. And then we will be gone. Can you put in the chat one more time, Tega, the link for them to click on for more information about the class or to join? Trust me, do it while the special is on. It's over 50, it's almost 50% off. Take advantage of that. And I'm going to send you a surprise gift on top of that when you register during the early bird process. Olivia?
Good evening, everyone. It's Olivia calling from Australia. It's still very early in the morning, so I have my
welcome
microphone off. Hey, just a quick question. In regards to the course, Michelle and Tiga, it is available for live. So I'm actually keen to understand if you guys actually do an update or revision on the course, will that be updated, or are we just going to actually be keeping the consistent version which we bought? Keen to understand.
Well, from time to time, we may add a module or two, but there's so much there that we're finding that most people don't really complete everything the first time because it's a lot to think about. So every time that you retake the class, you're going to see another side of something that you need to deal with.
Cool. So I suppose, so if you guys add a module, for example, in that scenario, Michelle, will you then actually, will that particular purchase, say, for example, you add a module in 2 years' time and I bought this course, in 2022.
You will have access to that additional module.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for clarifying that, Michelle. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
It's a nice long membership, and even when the semester is out, you still have access to your class, so you can go back in whenever you like and do that. There's no cutoff point or whatever. You have the class for life. See, somebody from the class said she's saving it for her grandchild that's 10 years old. She said when a grandchild turns 18, she will make her take the class. She said.
Oh my goodness, that is awesome. Thank you, Tiga, for that.
And we had we've had people in different stages of relationship in the class. It's not just for singles, actually. It's a great review for marriage people so that they can really realign themselves in their marriage and take it to the next level. Well, our time is actually up. Thank you for joining us. We may do one more of these classes, but I'm really, encouraging you to join and sign up, because we actually are limiting the amount of people in the class. So I want to make sure that you get into the class. And the reason we limit it is because I want to be able to have the hands-on experience and be able to hear from each one of you. It's very important for me not to just see a sea of faces on Zoom, but to be able to, excuse me, to connect with each of you personally, hear your heart, and walk through your issues with you. And so I'm going to be available for that through 6 master classes, in addition to what you will be having that you will be using during your personal time. So thank you for joining me today. Encourage a friend to join you so that you've got a mate to talk to. But even if you don't, the love community will await you, and there'll be a lot of sharing and networking and support that you'll find within the group. Thank you once again, and I'll look forward to seeing you at the Love Masterclass.
Thank you. Have a good day. Have a good evening. Have a good night. If you have any further questions, you can email me at tega@michellehammond.com. I see some people are asking me questions. I'm just going to put my email here so you can reach me personally and I can answer everybody. I may not be able to answer all the questions right now.
Thank you.